Welcome back to Comedy Trap House News. It's your boy Marvin Telp, and I want to start off the right way. I want to say happy Juneteenth, right? I want to celebrate the federal holiday, the newly struck federal holiday. And what we want to do is we want to open with a quick just recap of what Juneteenth actually is. And so Juneteenth in itself Juneteenth happened on June 19th, 1865. And that is when the last of the enslaved people in the United States found out that they were actually free. And so we're talking Union General Gordon Granger walked in to Galveston, Texas, and was like, hey, y'all Negroes is free. And that was it. And it was crazy because it's 2 years after the actual announcement of the Emancipation Proclamation. So the Proclamation of Emancipation. It's 2 years following that date. Those people had no idea that as a country, United States has said, hey guys, you guys was free. And so to be fair, it is only 2 months after the Confederacy surrendered, but still 2 months after you lost the war, y'all still had slaves. Anyway, after the Emancipation Proclamation, the first official celebration in Galveston, Texas was a year later, where the newly freed men bought a plot of land. Was like, we're going to have a little, we call them cookouts. I don't know if they call it cookouts back in 1865, but we're going to have a little gathering and we're going to call it Jubilee Day. So that's what it was called. It wasn't called Juneteenth in its origin. It was called Jubilee Day. It got the name Juneteenth because it was June 19th. And you know how we do. We just start merging words and moving forward. Now, I did this because I know for a fact some of us, and when I say some of us, I mean black people, do not actually know the history of Juneteenth. And why? Because Juneteenth is not a curriculum-based thing at all. It's not in your schools. There's no way for you to actually know unless you had one of those teachers, which I did, that made sure you knew exactly what Juneteenth was. But since we're celebrating this new federal holiday, let's talk about how the government is supporting this holiday. So first, Governor Abbott in Texas, good old Texas, has signed the bill SB 17 into law, saying that they will remove diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, programs, names, and titles, and everything out of their higher education. And now that is ridiculously stupid, but it's followed by, it's been this overall ban of diversity, equity, and inclusion in anything. And so then you have, what is his name? Senator Brandon Creighton of Texas, who is saying, oh my gosh, with this, I want to read it, with this bold, forward-thinking legislation to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI program. He said DEI program so that y'all wouldn't know. With this bold, forward-thinking legislation to eliminate DEI programs, Texas is leading the nation. And I know, yes, we are talking about a lot of white people on Juneteenth, but that's just what's going to happen. But Texas is not the first place. This is why we're really about to shoot this dude. We're going to run him real quick. It's because Texas is not the first place. So they're not forward thinking. They're following the lines of Kansas, which has already passed their DEI laws, and Florida, which has also done the same. And we spoke about what Florida did, because Florida tried to maneuver wording and play funky with what they were doing. But they were literally doing the same thing. We are removing from our higher education programs that are fitted around diversity. And what we know as the other side of diversity is that if it's not included, it's definitely being excluded. Now, this is also not the first thing that's under an attack, because you have DEI, but then affirmative action has been firmly under attack for the last, I want to say, decade plus. But most recently, what is it? The Students for Fair Admission, which is a conservative, conservative activist group. I don't even know what that doesn't even sound right. That's why I had to look. Conservative activist group.
Terrorists.
This conservative activist group has gone on and saying, hey, we're not getting into colleges and universities because we're, not black. Right. And so they've included Asians and all these other people who feel like, oh, we're being excluded because of this. Like, listen, affirmative action is not right, but affirmative action is a admission that you've been doing it wrong. Affirmative action is an admission that the way the programming, the selection of students, education, and all of those things were wrong. So no, it's not perfect, but it was and is still a thing in the right direction. You have families that have kids that have families that have never gone to college. So yes, I'm okay with that kid getting into college and being a first generation college kid, as opposed to your family's been to Yale for 8 centuries. And no, it's not 8 centuries, but for 80 years, 8 decades, your family has Yale this and Yale that and Yale that, and you're upset because you're not what? You're ahead. Your family's 8 to 10 generations ahead of this same kid who's just getting their families, they're working on breaking their generational curses. They're just starting to work on it. Relax. Now, it's fine because not only that, but as we try to make progress in the United States, things go the other way. So, for example, Fort Bragg in North Carolina, which is now called Fort Liberty as of a year ago, has become this big talk piece. And now let's be honest, Fort Bragg is named after Braxton Bragg, who is a, brilliant military artillery strategist who was a traitor to the United States. You can throw the other traitors up there too, Emmanuel. A traitor to the United States of America, but you want to fight tooth and nail to keep this place named Fort Bragg. And why is that? Because it's just come up as this major talk piece because these Republican candidates are on the road. So in North Carolina, Mike Pence went on and he had this whole impassioned speech about how he was going to make sure Fort Liberty, Fort Freedom, Fort Juneteenth. No one wants a fort named after freedom. We wanted Fort Bragg. And he goes on and gives this whole impassioned speech, and I say impassioned loosely because it's Mike Pence. And then followed up right behind that was Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis said the same thing. Hey, when I'm president, I will make sure it will go back to Fort Bragg. You're wasting campaign trail time. You're not talking about issues. You're not talking about anything. You just want to say, hey, we don't like this progress shit. And we know this. We know the Conservative Party has been kind of against anything progressive that makes white people have to look at their face, look at themselves in the mirror and be like, damn, maybe we're not being the best people as white people. Anyway, you hear this and you see it all throughout this country, right? Robert E. Lee School, the statues here. We want all of these Confederate heroes posted up. But you know what? If you go anywhere in Germany, there's no statue of Hitler. Right? And Hitler, Juneteenth, Marvin, what are you doing? Stay with me. Hitler was a brilliant military strategist. Hitler helped pull Germany out of the Great Depression by building the Autobahn and expanding the military and doing all these great things. He actually took a country that was financially destroyed after the Treaty of Versailles, after World War I, and brought them back to a world power. Then Hitler, as a brilliant strategist, conquered damn near all of Europe. And I really mean damn near all of Europe. He had France, he had Belgium, he had Poland. He had them tucked away in the pocket. He pushed all the way to where Britain was over there like, yo, they on the doorsteps. He conquered Africa. He had Mussolini on his team. Japanese was over there conquering China and the Philippines. Hitler damn near took over the world. So why isn't there one statue of Hitler anywhere? He deserves it, right? I just gave you all of his things because the German people are embarrassed by their history. Embarrassed, ashamed even. And so there will be no celebration of Adolf Hitler on any way, shape, or form. But let us tell it, our heroes are the traitors of the United States. Now, for those who don't give a damn, which I know a lot of them are, you know, this is just another day off of the week, and that's just what it is. I'll say go ahead and get you some fancy Juneteenth product, and I will say to you, happy Juneteenth. Walmart has this phenomenal ice cream on sale right now. Now, for those who want to know, for those who want to improve race relationships, for those who actually care about the actual significance of this day, I will say to you, happy Jubilee Day. That's, yeah. And that is our time here at Comedy Trap House News. It's your boy Marvin Telp. We're going to jump to the chat, see what the conversations is, see who's having a cookout. I might have to pull up on you where we are. What up, AEA Visuals? Happy Juneteenth. Look at that. The bill should have never passed here in Texas. Now listen, AEA, we know Texas and Florida have been, I'm not surprised. That's all I'll say. I'm not surprised. That's what I'll say. I will say I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Everybody partying.
I'm about to say, everybody, like, nobody's on the joint right now. How many people we got viewing this? 3, 4, 5? It's Juneteenth. I'm supposed to be out at a barbecue with some ribs. I did make some collard greens, but it wasn't for Juneteenth. It was literally just because I wanted some collard greens. And I didn't have a real reason to make them. This motherfucker's been... I think that's it, though. I think it's a quiet day, quiet front. So for those of you who are on the live, if any questions pop up while I'm signing off, I might deal with it, but maybe not. Anyway, for those of you who are out and celebrating and with your loved ones and taking the time, or just sitting at the house with your feet up, enjoying yourself, do that. Happy Jubilee Day. Peace.